Hi all, it's Kimberly and welcome back to the channel. Thank you to the new subscribers. Thanks to those of you who join each week. I am so excited to bring you your February forecast. I can't believe we're already in February. January flew by. This is an important one. There's so much happening, especially right as we, set out of the gate. So February 4th is our new moon in Aquarius, and February 1st is the Celtic tradition of Imbolc, which I'm going to talk a lot about because I feel like it's really, really important for us at this time. So we're going to learn what Imbolc is, why it's important for us. We're going to talk about the new moon in Aquarius and the overall energies for the month. Okay, so I'm going to pull a full spread here. I've already begun doing that. I'll be shuffling a little bit while I'm talking to you. And before I get to that, just to remind you, if you're wanting to, work in private session with me, you can check out the website. It's spiritualmaterialgirl.com. If nothing else, sign up for my newsletter, and you'll receive an extended forecast at the beginning of the month and during the moon phases. If you want to work in session, I just introduced a new soul coaching package. So I know some of you are working on clearing through blocks, you're still purging, you're still finding the alignment, and you might need some assistance in doing that. If you feel like my messages resonate for you, you can check that out. I did package up a 4-session package that you can use over the course of 8 weeks. And then I also have an intensive program coming up in April. Registration will close actually during February. So make sure if you're interested in that, you send me your questions or sign up. What else? I have a workshop on February 28th. It's called My Path, My Purpose, all about helping you anchoring your 5D timelines into reality this year. And as always, you can work with me in private session for intuitive guidance or twin flame guidance. And that's all on the website under sessions and workshops. Okay. Yeah, this is going to be a really cool month. And the reason why is because we're seeing the crystallization of some of the seeds that we've planted. So first, let's talk about Imbolc. So Imbolc is the festival honoring the goddess Brigid. And Brigid is sort of like the mother goddess of Ireland, okay? And she actually I pulled the Divine Feminine deck from Joe Jason's Sacred Feminine deck, and she came up underneath for the feminine, but I want to hold her up right now and we'll talk more about what this means for the feminine. But in general, you see her pregnant here. And so this is a time, Imbolc honors the stirrings of new life, and it's sort of the unofficial start of spring. This means where the days are getting longer, there's more light coming, we're celebrating this, we're embracing it, and we're stirring, right? We're getting ready to give birth, to renew, to feel a new life force energy, and to set forth on a new path. This is very much in line with a lot of what we're going to be talking about with the new moon in Aquarius. So those of you who are expecting, you may be, physically working on this behind the scenes. You may be starting to show the seeds of your new ideas or new life to the world, or you may just be working on the hidden potential of some things within. You might be just nurturing things from behind the scenes. Whatever the case, they're saying there is going to be a ramp up or an amp up of excitement. And this energy is really going to help you birth these ideas and projects come March, when we actually get into the official start of spring. This is an exciting time. They're saying, be grateful. And one of Brigid's messages and why she comes in to assist us and why you can call upon her as a sacred feminine icon is because she can assist us with flowing with the natural cycles of change. And so there's a lot of change happening. And when we get into rapid change or big changes, we often introduce resistance, as you know, right? So we might tend to resist the change, and she's here, and you can call upon her energy or read more about her to help you flow through the changes. She's wanting us to feel grateful for the lessons and blessings, and to just kind of flow with the tide, because the tide is turning and it's definitely leading us to a brighter place. And it's taking on for many like you're taking on a new life trajectory. So that can be a really big change, and it may feel a bit scary, and we may want to introduce resistance. We may even put illness in our way. We may put, chaos or distractions in our way. Again, be careful of that. And we'll talk more about that when we get into the forecast, especially for the feminine. But what I have to say is overall is this is an exciting time. It's very bright. And again, like I said, if you want my full forecast, please sign up on the website, because I talk quite a bit about this tradition, what Brigid means for us. And and we'll talk more about it since she came up for the Divine Feminine. So let's look at the feminine energies to start, okay? And then we'll talk about, we'll tie in these themes of the new moon in Aquarius and Imbolc and spring and pre-spring and all that, and where we are in the collective. So what's coming up is the moon for the feminine. And the moon is really helping us to release delusion and see clearly. And what they're saying is that you've seen through the eclipses, you've gained some clarity. There's some information or some insights or some epiphanies that have come through for you. You're seeing clearly. Now, the problem is where I feel like resistance is coming in is that you're looking around and you're going, well, not much has changed. And see how this is an 18 card? I feel like you're looking going, well, this still feels the same as 2018. And what they're saying is like, that in itself is an illusion, and you need to separate that and discern that, because what's happening in the 3D right now has no bearing on you anchoring in your 5D timelines. You are in a prime and unbelievable position to anchor in your 5D dreams, hopes, ambitions, goals, the things that you've romanticized, that you've put in your energetic vortex. Like, you can pull them into reality this year. Just because it's not happening right now doesn't mean it's not going to be. And so this is really about having faith and really discerning through the illusion of the 3D. Because if you try to analyze the 3D right now, what it's showing you is, oh, you know what, not much has changed. This year feels the same as 2018. And when really massive shifts are occurring, you have been clearing a lot out of the way, and you're getting ready for the new. And these things are going to start to crystallize. So hang in there, because it's coming, okay? And I do feel like the intentions that you set now are so important. So the intentions that you set during the new moon are huge, because I do feel like these are the ones that are just going to start to pop in March, April, and May, okay? And that's how quickly things are going to start popping for us. This might be throwing us off a little bit, like vibrationally. I feel like it's, something that we need to really look at and say, okay, I'm going to stop analyzing the 3D. I'm going to trust in what I'm creating at a higher level and what's calling to me, what I know is coming, and have faith in it. And that 2019 is going to have its own essence, its own unique feeling, and it's not the same as the past. And just because we've carried in a little energy from 2018 of things that we still need to clear, and does not mean that that's going to set the tone for the year. In fact, I feel like the tone after this new moon is totally going to change, which is amazing. So hang in there and don't get hung up on what you're seeing and what you're analyzing in the 3D. Trust in the higher calling. Trust in, she's sprinkling stardust down below. It's like that. It's like trust in what you're sprinkling, the magic that you're sprinkling, your manifestations, how you're co-creating, okay? And coming above this, crowning over, is stay focused. And this is the thing. It's like, don't give up just because you don't see it happening right now. It's coming. I put in my newsletter, in my forecast, I promise, because I promise you, if you have been focused, if you have been nurturing seeds, like, I promise you, it is coming. I mean, it's a sure bet, okay? There's probably a certain amount of resistance that you need to clear out of the way to bring all of your manifestations into life. But many of you are doing a good job at that. Those of you who need assistance with it, come to coaching with me. Come see me for a guidance session so we can give you a little roadmap to help you clear the blocks. But what you've been doing, keep nurturing. They're saying keep watering the seeds, keep, nurturing your projects. I mean, Brigid also, and Brigid is coming up underneath for the feminine, she assists those in the healing arts professions, in the medical profession, in the midwifery profession, but she also assists those that are artists and creatives. So she wants you to branch out on your own. She wants you to nurture your projects. She's helping you to do this, call upon her energy. She's saying, like, this might be the time for you to branch out on your own or launch a new project in that realm, creative, healing arts, artistic, whatever that is. And Kathumi is coming through and just saying, you guys, you got to stay focused. Just because it doesn't feel like it's happening right now, or it feels like we've brought in some of that old energy, doesn't mean that you're not creating huge shifts. You are. And the more you nurture the things from behind the scenes, and you water the seeds, and you set the intentions, and you don't get hung up on the 3D stuff, the more possibility you're going to have of anchoring those 5D timelines and doing it pretty quickly and swiftly, because the stars are going to align for you to do that. You just have to clear the resistance. So how does resistance show up? It's fear, it's doubt, it's insecurity, it's where we're attached, it's where we put the distractions in the way, it's where we tell ourselves it's not happening quick enough, it's not happening on our own timelines. And our ego sort of kind of blocks us from our full power and full potential. But by becoming aware of that and knowing where those fears and insecurities and doubts and where that's rooted, or why our ego might be blocking us, or that's something that's a challenge for you to overcome right now. And I do believe with the right tools, you can all remove that resistance out of the way and clear the space. Imbolc is asking us to clear the space, and that's part of what we've been doing in this emotional purging, the changes that we've been making, the clearing, and it's like they're saying, get ready for the new. So, I have to admit, this is the weekend, this is Sunday, I'm making this video. Yesterday, I was looking around at my living space and I'm going, I want to make this more springy. I don't know why. I just want to. So I went out and got like all these spring colors and pillows and art. And I was just like having fun decorating, right? And it was just, I don't know, I just got lost in it. It was just fun. And whether you're doing literal spring cleaning, it's just this feeling. It just made me feel good. I didn't spend a lot of money. It was kind of like a fun creative project. And it made me feel like I'm welcoming in the new. I'm telling the universe, hey, I'm ready for spring. I'm ready for this new. I'm using like pinks and purple tones, which I haven't used before. And that's like showing like I'm in this romantic, way, and wanting this new energy to come in, and I'm co-creating in that way. There are other ways that you can co-create with the universe, and these can be small things like cleaning out your closet, spring cleaning, redecorating, literal things, right? In my forecast, I said, if you are planning something, let's say you're planning to launch a new website, or you have a new business, or you're creating a piece of art right now, or maybe you're writing a book. What I said is, right now during this new moon, what they're asking us to do is go order your business cards for the new business. Go buy the frame for your new piece of art that you're creating. Buy the bookshelf where you're going to display your book when it's published. Do those things. Make a small investment with big faith. And that's going to show the universe that you believe and that you're not hung up on this 3D timeline. That's going to help you clear these blocks and invest. Because when we invest, when we spend money, when we spend time, right, that you're telling the universe what you want, okay? You are showing the universe. And we are being asked to do a little more than just the behind the scenes work. They're saying, like, put some investment into it. Not a lot, but just an investment of faith, and show your investment. It's kind of like when you go into a business partnership. Let's say you went into like a business partnership and you you went in at 70% and the other person went in at 30%. So it means they will receive 30% of the profits, you'll receive 70%, right? When you would initially open a joint bank account, that person would put in $3 and you would put in $7, right? Or something like that, right? So it shows your initial investment. Now, it's the same thing. They're saying, do that with the universe. Just put in that one little step and the universe is going to come back to you and partner with you like tenfold. So show your investment. Put the money in the bank. Put the money in the energetic bank. Okay? And again, these don't have to be big investments. They could be small investments that energetically are showing big faith. Okay, and that's how the universe is going to rise up and meet you. So for the masculine, we have the 10 of air. And I just love this. Now, I want to show you that the way it looks to me on the spread is like this. So it's like the masculine's looking up, the feminine's looking down. So she's looking at sort of the seeds that she's watering. She's looking at, oh, where are my cultivations? You know, they are facing one another. And he's looking up because the epiphanies are coming, the insights, the dawning, the possibility, the realizations, the dreaming, right? And whereas, you know, feminine, you've already had this. Now you're focusing on like the physical, like growing the seeds, watching it bloom and all of that. This card is so huge for the masculine because it's what I've been talking about in the past several readings. Was I keep saying there's like a dawning or an epiphany that's coming. And this is all about, this 10 of air is about endings, new beginnings. It's the completion of something. And it is the old ways of doing things dying. It is the epiphanies of, wow, I can create bigger. And I feel like, you know, where we see these feathers, it's really like more of a higher calling that the masculine is having, more of a spiritual epiphany, awakening. Remember I said in my last video, the masculine is awake. Masculine's waking up. And this is where he's saying, I'm okay now to let the old things die. I'm okay to shift into a new way of being. Now, he hasn't started to lay the bricks yet, but he will. And this is just, it's just huge right now because it's like, whew, it's the big epiphany. There's a lot of messages from spirit, I feel, coming through for the masculine that are assisting him. So masculine's having downloads. He's having, remember I said last, I think we had the claircognizance card came up for the masculine, the last reading. And spirit is around him and showing him the way. And these are through just random thoughts that enter his mind, downloads, signs, and different epiphanies that he's having. I do feel like he's coming out of some darkness and stepping into some light. And this is really a beautiful confirmation of this. This also is showing us, whenever we have the air, it is showing us that he's going to be expressing in a new way. Like the way he steps forth in the physical world and expresses himself is starting to change. Underneath, well, actually, let's look at crowning over, is the power of joy. Now, this is what I feel like he is feeling, this relief, this, oh, I don't have to stay in the misery of that job, of that relationship, of that thing that was weighing me down. I am going to create this new phase for myself, and it can be one in which I am happy, in which I am free, in which I create much more joy for myself. It feels too like there's this thing that's coming in for the masculine around wanting sort of like the happy ending. That's what the guides are just telling me right now. And that hasn't really, I think a lot of you, I don't know if you're masculine watching this, but I know a lot of the feminine who identify with the feminine energy, when you look at your masculine, many of you say like, oh, well, they're non-committal, or they just don't see it, or they don't get it, or it's not like they want it, but they don't want it. And I get this overwhelming sense like there's like this desire coming through for like a happy ending with their beloved. And that feels like also not just like a happy ending, but really a new beginning. But more importantly, what he's working on first is this new beginning within himself that's bringing him joy. And this is what he does in the world. And we're having that reconfirmed with Artemis, who's the sacred feminine card that's coming up underneath the masculine. So this is where he is harnessing his feminine energy in a new way. Now, Artemis is a virgin goddess. She's moving forward on her own, without distraction. This is about her on her own sure-footedness, connected to her solar plexus, connected to what she needs to be doing, focused, aiming, undistracted, knowing what she wants, and confident in her ability to create it. And I feel like this is something that the masculine has wavered with internally. He's been like, oh, I have to stay here because it's comfortable. Oh, I have to do this because this is the way it's supposed to be. Or he hasn't been able to call upon his true divine masculine energy, in which he's been able to step up and take action, but really this internal energy in which he anchors his strength. And this is both, the intuitive knowing and knowing what's right for him by connecting into his solar plexus. There's a lot coming up around the solar plexus for the masculine at this time. And I feel like one of the things, this is also a 10 card. So we're seeing, again, this is something that he's mastering. And I feel like there's been an uncertainty, like a lack of faith in himself and his own ability to create, manifest, stand on his own sure-footedness, whether that be emotionally or financially too, especially financially. I feel the masculine are making new strides along their like career path and mission path. And there's a lot of joy coming as he harnesses this new strength and steps into his truth and follows that truth. Okay. So for the joint energy, we have the Hanged Man in reverse. And I do get that, this is a 12 card. I do feel like this is something that we're working on presently, as well as over the next years, just surrendering, allowing things to come to fruition when they're meant to, without forcing it or pushing it. And Frigate is, like I said, reminding us to flow with the cycles, to flow with the changes. And this is one aspect that we're, both the masculine and feminine are being called to do. It's like, in order to come all the way into yourself, you must let go. You must surrender. You must just be at peace with where you are and flow with what is happening, trusting all is in divine order. And this is a certain level of surrender in which you're, succumbing to the changes, not resisting them. And then you're doing a beautiful dance of co-creation with the universe so that you can pull in these 5D timelines and come closer to yourself. Where we resist or put resistance in the way, we're just kind of separating ourselves. We are reinforcing this notion of, it's not showing up. And we don't want to do that. We want to get out of our own way and allow it to show up for us and make room and allow it to manifest and allow it to come on its own time. I think it's interesting also that this did come up in reverse. And, this is surrender, would be hanged. But one of the things that they're showing us is like, we're trying to take charge, we're trying to stand, and they're saying, no, you just need to just like let go. And in some ways this is good, and it's got the yellow energy behind it. So it means you're coming into your confidence. That is the solar plexus. But don't get overconfident where you're trying to steer the ship, because the universe, remember, all you have to do is just plant one seed with big faith and then let go and let the universe rise up and meet you. Okay, and that's part of your true confidence for both the feminine and the masculine. Big reminder for you is to trust. Trusting is part of connecting in with our solar plexus, trusting our gut, trusting our intuition, and really being in our power. Okay. And crowning over this is the 2 of fire in reverse. Let me show you what that looks like upright. Okay, and the 2 of fire is really about you co-creating. I mean, I feel like, when we see the giraffe, also, the giraffe is tall. He kind of sees above. He's seeing the bigger picture, right? And he's holding the lantern. And if you're on his back, proverbially, you are being asked, see how she's kind of slouched over? She's being asked to see above, to see. They're saying, like, you've already planted the seeds and they're connected to your passions. And I mean, especially for the divine feminine, I feel like this message is really ripe. And it's like, now you just have to kind of trust and focus on the bigger picture of what you're wanting to cultivate, rather than, what's happening, where you're looking down at the ground, like here. Like, is there a sprout yet? Is there a sprout yet? Come on, grow. And they're saying, no, rise above. Look at the bigger picture. Keep feeding the bigger picture. Keep throwing stuff out towards the bigger picture. Let the bigger picture light the way for you. And that's going to help you really master this dance of co-creation. And the same thing for the masculine too, because I feel like for the masculine, this is him sort of for the first time lifting out of just like these, like the comfort zone, the 3D perspective, the dependencies, like all that stuff. It's like, it's a bigger picture that's coming in for him. And he's like, oh, wow, I can do this differently. He's seeing a fuller picture. And in that, he feels, oh, I can actually create everything I want. It doesn't have to be that I'm locked into this, or that I've locked myself into this, or that I have to stay with these old ways of doing things. He's saying, wow, I can see above the trees now, and there's a much bigger horizon. There's a much bigger landscape than the way I've been living my life. Okay? And then underneath for the combined energy is the Queen of Fire. Oh, there's that ugly little split on my thumb again. Sorry, you guys. It's gross. So Queen of Fire is, she's representing the mastery of this co-creation, okay? So she's also talking about or telling us to collaborate with one another. And I know sometimes we get focused on, union with our twin flame, and when we come into our divine partnership, and then, oh, I'm lonely, and da-da-da. But like this time that we're in is all about you radiating your own unique essence, coming all the way into yourself, flowing with the changes, serving your mission. That means understanding your purpose while you're on this path is to raise consciousness, period. And then, you have sort of a duty at this time, and it feels like to connect with your fellow journeyers along this path, other twin flames, other awakening souls on the journey. And it's through that, it's through just leaving behind that attachment around divine partnership and union and all of that, that is actually going to be what brings that in for you. Stay focused on your path, what you need to do to manifest. Get caught up in the excitement of that, and understand too that you're being asked to collaborate. You're being asked to share your gifts. You're being asked to connect with other journeyers on this path in a new way this year, and even over this next few months or so. Okay. The bottom of the Good Tarot deck is the Messenger of Water. And I feel like this is the energy, this is sort of like the predecessor to the sort of romantic energy that we're going to come into in March, which is going to bring a lot of synchronicities when we're in that Piscean energy. And right now they're saying, if anything, romanticize with yourself. Fall in love with yourself. Romanticize about who you could be, who you could become, what you want to create, the amazing life you're creating. Get caught up in that, daydream, fantasize, fall in love with yourself. That's sort of paramount right now. They're asking us through this Aquarius new moon to look to the future. And they're also asking you to see your future self. So what if you could ask yourself that question, like, what does my future self look like? Not just physically, but, you know, what is she or he doing in this world? Is there a strength or confidence that I'm not harnessing right now that I desire to? Is there something I want to be doing that I haven't started to nurture? Who do I want to step into being? What does that look like? Fall in love with that image and start nurturing it. Fall in love with yourself. The best way to get there is to not look at what we are not right now, but by falling in love with what we are right now, that creates this gratefulness, that creates less resistance, and then we'll be able to step into that 5D self-image much quicker, much more easily, much more fluidly. So seeing who you want to become is all part of anchoring in these 5D timelines, okay? The bottom of the Sacred Feminine deck is Marian of Magdala. Oh, that cut, sorry. So Marian of Magdala, and she's here to remind us about embracing our sacred feminine energy and unconditional love. And it's interesting because I feel like this is very similar, these cards, okay? It's like, you know, looking towards yourself, hugging yourself, you know, falling in love with yourself, and that lending to you being able to be unconditional with others, okay? But it's very important at this time. The bottom of the Ascended Masters deck is Yogananda, which is choose peace. Now, you might say, well, I don't feel any conflict coming up in these energies, but I think this is just also a reconfirmation of, you know, the Hanged Man, the don't, you know, resist, flow with it. Also, remember I said feminine, you might be putting some chaos or distractions in the way, preventing yourself from really anchoring in those 5D timelines, getting hung up on everything that's happening in the 3D. And they're saying, like, if you go within and choose peace, the peace is just going to be that I'm trusting in where I'm at, I'm allowing, and not creating more attachment to what's happening in the 3D, okay? Also, there could be like this impulsiveness or this wanting to, like, you know, push this co-creation, push what we're working on before it's ripe. And we want to just kind of feel at peace with how things are unfolding. And the more we do that, the more quickly things are going to unfold. That's the irony in all of this. We think when we focus on, you know, what we, you know, what should be happening, that's going to bring it in quicker. But when we focus on what should be, what we think should be happening, we're actually looking at the lack thereof. And what we need to be doing is just focusing on the bigger picture, what we want to create, not analyzing what is or isn't happening in the 3D, just feeling at peace with it, how it's unfolding, knowing it's all coming, trusting, okay? I'm going to pull some Ask Your Guides cards for the masculine and feminine for advice for both energies, so that we can get more specific messages on what your guides are wanting you to know at this time collectively, and perhaps it'll resonate for you individually. So for the feminine, they're showing us partnerships and love. And this feels like this is, you know, related to this, the co-creation, you know, connecting with your community. And remember what I said, the more you get into your mission, start serving, connecting with the community. That's what's going to bring in the love for you, the divine partnership, the unions. It's not by focusing on union. It's by focusing on self and surrendering to what this whole journey is, which is, it is to raise consciousness. That's what it is. That's why you're here. And so as you do that and you start collaborating and connecting and expanding and broadening your horizons, this is when love is going to come on and find you. The divine partnerships, the unions, which we'll be seeing a lot of during May, June, and July. But for now, it's like start the collaborating, start connecting. You're partnering also. Remember, I used the analogy of the business partnership, partnering with the universe, partnering with yourself, right? Partnering with yourself. This is bringing in the love from outside of yourself because it's conjuring the love from within. It's bringing in the connections outside of yourself, and that's creating more love with it from within. As that love grows from within, that's how you attract your divine partners. For the masculine, look at this, the loss. Now this feels like, so there's loss, there's epiphany, and then there's joy, right? That's how we saw it. And this is where I feel like during this time, oh, I have goosebumps. Oh, big goosebumps. The masculine is transitioning from what he has felt like is a loss into hope, into epiphany, into the dawning of a new day. And these could be, there's been a lot of endings and beginnings. And the endings have been literal for some, where you've had death around you, like literal deaths, pets dying, relatives, animals, people that you know in the community. And I'm sorry for anyone who's gone through any type of a physical loss. Know that when a soul chooses to leave during this eclipse time, that it's very important for you. There is a reason for it here. There's like a deeper level of emotional healing. Now, this might be figurative or more of like a different type of a loss too, where someone just leaves or you feel maybe abandoned. Especially for the masculine, I feel like there's been some sort of like a heartache or like a rock bottom that I've been talking about that the masculine is hitting. And that loss, whatever that is, and that could just be like letting go of the dependencies as well. But he has felt this loss enough that it has cracked him open to some new epiphanies. And with that has come quite a bit of emotional processing that I feel like he hasn't done in, maybe ever for some, maybe for quite some years for others. And it's really important. For the combined energy, the guidance is epiphany. So this is really about listening to your higher self. And this comes with, the Hanged Man card. And when you think about, oh, okay, I'm going to go to it. I'm going to get it done. I'm going to make it happen, versus I'm just going to listen to my higher self and trust and open my arms up and let myself be guided, right? And that's what they're wanting us to do, is just allow ourselves to be led. This Epiphany card is also an 18, okay, which I think is interesting. There's a lot of things coming in, I feel like quite literally from 2018, that we're carrying forth and we're integrating now. Whether that's the seeds that we planted in the fall or winter of 2018, whether those are the things that we've let go of that are given way to these, new epiphanies or important changes that we're making in our lives. It's all one. And so if you're feeling a carryover, don't resist it. Say, okay, this is part of getting this new start, this new year started. This is all part of it. This is one thing's leading right to the other. One thing is propelling the other. One thing is contrast to create the new. Okay? The bottom of the Ask Your Guides deck is compromise, and it's your master teacher. And so, this is interesting too, because they're saying like this is about, meeting in the middle. And I feel like with really who you're compromising with is yourself. And these could be like where you were stubborn, where you were resistant, where you were stuck on the old ways of doing things. And remember I said, like, a lot of this partnership is partnering not only with others, right? Finding collaboration with others, but also partnering with yourself. And that's really important at this time. You're learning how to do that in a new way. Whereas before we may have been like doggedly stubborn, set in our old ways, allowing the resistance to control us, allowing that. And I think like this is giving way to new literal partnerships in our lives, new collaborations, as I've been talking about, but also just a new way of partnering with ourselves and how we partner with the universe. For twins, it's also, could be that, coming here soon is like a new way of coming together, of looking at things. So if you've been at odds with your twin or with your divine partner, and this could mean like a renewal at this time of how you see things, a little more give take, a little more of a bigger picture understanding that both are bringing to the table to allow things to flow, to allow things to open up. And that's huge, okay? So I'm going to leave it there. And like I said, you can sign up online for my extended forecast if you want to work in private session, or you need any assistance along your journey. You can check out spiritualmaterialgirl.com. I love you guys, and I'll see you all soon. Okay. Mwah. Happy new moon and happy start of your February. Bye.